Therapy Army! Let's be having you, Therapy Army. Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Tom. Good evening. Is it a good evening? It's pissing down like... How's it in Sheffield, Tom?
Good evening. Good evening. We're not in Sheffield.
Woo! There's international man on mystery. He's out and about. Tom's better watch out, people. Tom's about. He's out and about.
We're not in Sheffield, no. I'll tell you where we are the other day. Can you remember that picture that I took when I was at a certain place? And it links to our football club and the people who run it. Let's run the memories back. Where are we at? We're at some university, aren't we? Where are we?
Bristol University. We're having it.
University.
Bristol University, eat your heart out. Wow.
No. Listen, weather's not actually too bad, to be fair, though. At the end of the day, but it is what it is. We can pick the bones of it.
Honestly, it is what it is. Big up to you.
All good.
Big up to you, Tom. How's Bristol? Is the weather all right in Bristol?
Yeah, it's.
A friend of mine's moving there actually soon. Decent night out. I had a decent night out there.
Yeah.
Bristol.
Yeah. We've got no partying to do down here, mate. What do you mean?
Yes, guys.
No party. No in Bristol.
Party.
He's a Bristol. Tom's with the bankers, mate. Is that Ed Woodward's old university dorms, mate? Checking out Richard Arnold.
I think he does lectures now, doesn't he? He does lectures on how to run a financial business.
Oh God! how to give out a £500,000 contracts and all of that. Yeah,
that's
how it is. Wages, yeah. That's how it is. Big up to all Therapy Army, man. Listen, welcome to the stream, people. We're 500 short of 8,000 people. So let's go. Let's see if we can get to 8,000 before the season ends, as we are going that road to 10K. But let's go, people. Big up to every one of you. Love and like. Big up to Khalis Wamidi Lassie, Chief Editor, United Real Therapy. Saeed, how you doing, man?
Yeah,
just finished Straight Jacket podcast 229, 300.
Yeah, 229, man. It was a good one, man. A lot of things off our chest. Now I'm starting to understand Nuruddin now, you know what I mean? And maybe we're starting to maybe coexist a little bit now that we're not in any Europa League competition or anything like that. But listen, I'm good, man. Just the weather's a bit depressing though, man. It's so depressing, the weather outside.
Just like Man United, eh? What the weather and Man United got in common, eh?
Just like Man United, mate, the weather's depressing. I'm seeing Everton scoring 3 goals at the ground that we failed to score 1 goal. It's absolutely comical, man. It's comical. It's a joke. But other than that, I'm all good. Life can't be done.
Listen, and Saeed, it's nice when you can get it in it. Eric Tenhag's giving his players 2 days off after the West Ham defeat. Different situation from Brentford run. First clear midweek since September. Man FC recharge required. All right. Man UFC has set to all talks with Dean Henderson.
Get out of here, man, Dean Henderson. I'm sick of that guy, man. Honestly. I don't want
My guy said I wanted to get off before, because if Tenhag would have seen me in training, he would have kept me.
The arrogance, bro. Who gave these guys arrogance, man? Who gave them the arrogance?
Listen, it's synonymous with the rest of the Manchester United squad, innit? And we are the trouble that we're in. So big up to Tom. Yeah, man. Give it him, 100%. Send it, man. Send it, yeah. Big up to Musa as well, my brother. Listen, it's gonna be crack-a-lacking kind of show. So Saeed, listen, I don't know if you missed this, right? But big up on today's show, people. We're gonna be looking at, obviously, as Therapy Army. We all know we predicted that Man United could bottle it. We predicted that towards the end of the season that fatigue would set in, because of the lack of strength, depth, and quality there is, and a lack of training ground time that Eric Tenhag has done with his team. Obviously, it's been an unprecedented year with the World Cup in between. Every 3 days before the World Cup, every 3 days after the World Cup. So it's been a bad time, but still struggling West Ham. We couldn't even work Fabianski yesterday. We couldn't even work the Fabianski. And it is what it is. So hold tight, Everton, anyway. Sheila will be happy. Little Dan, hold tight, Dan and Sheila. They'll both be happy. I hope that they stay up. I really don't want Everton going down. I don't know. I've got a soft spot for them. I don't know. It could be that I went to Liverpool.
They've never been down, you know. They've never been relegated.
That's what I'm saying. I want them to keep that record. I really want them to keep that record. Southampton is the ones, the fans who mess with me, and I wish them they'd go down, and they're going down. So West Ham, so not West Ham, sorry, Southampton.
What's Southampton done to you?
Yo, they're fans. All of a sudden, come out under the Munich tunnel, and they're giving it to me. They're like, "Oh, you Man United are shit," and I'm like, "Wow." I said, "You're going down," and they're like, "You're not going." You're just giving it to me. One of them try to come in my face and all of that, but it's what it is. So, guys, almost 8 of you in here, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed.
Come on,
but
man.
coming up on today's show, people, we're going to be talking about that. I didn't expect us to get top 4, really. I didn't expect Manchester United to get top 4. So, and a lot of you didn't either, because we knew.
I did. I put something.
No, I understand, Saeed. I'm big up to you. But a lot of us didn't, because we knew the turnaround from last season to this season is going to be huge push. And to be fair to Eric Tenhag, this show is about Eric Tenhag, but it's a different angle to what we did in on the Straight Jacket podcast. 229 people. Go and check it out. Follow Saeed TV across all social media. Saeed is on his way to 100K, mate. 100K. He wants that YouTube plaque, mate, on that wall behind him. He needs it. He's grafting. Nobody grafts more than Saeed on this YouTube, mate. Live sometimes he's live 3 times a day. That's how it is.
Man,
That's
crazy.
Hustle is real. The hustle is real. Man United will do it to you. So, but big up to everybody. So that's the first thing about it. So I'll ask Saeed, and then I'll ask Tom as well. So Tom, did you expect Man United to get top 4 this season? Really?
Honestly, from the start of the season, no. I'll be honest, no, because the way we recruited in the summer, it was as if we panicked with a lot of it. There wasn't much planning. The numbers for some of the players that we bought didn't add up. Like we know all these, we know the context to it, but I just didn't expect the competition around us to be so poor as it has been for most of the season. Like, I wouldn't have expected Liverpool to have dropped off in the way that they did for the majority of the season. I thought they would have been knocked on for the top 4 minimum if they weren't going to challenge for the title. Arsenal, I thought, it could go. No, I didn't think a lot of people would have thought that they were going to go for the title. City are always going to be, standard that they're going to make it. Spurs are always there or thereabouts. And you obviously have the reprieving fighters who want to go from mid-table to Europe, which are your clubs like Brighton, which are your clubs like Newcastle. So, listen, these clubs who are well-run and have developed and have good development plans and everything for their managers and players to flourish in, it doesn't surprise me that if a lot of Man United fans don't have confidence in their team to get top 4, because if you're a little club, if you're a smaller club, but you're a lot well run than one of the bigger clubs, well, boy, I think that at least a little club's going to have a lot more fight and more dog in them, if you like, than Man United do. And we've seen this many times with the games this season. And look, I don't know what it is. We had this moment, and we had it with the Liverpool game, where when we went to Wembley, one weekend we were on cloud 9. The next weekend, mate, we absolutely stunk the place out. We went to Anfield and we got slapped up, right? That people call it a blip or whatever, right? When we went to Spurs, when we were 2-0 up, a lot of us Man United fans, and I'll be honest, I was sitting back, kicking back with a beer, and I'm thinking, you know what? Top 4's done, mate. See you later. Liverpool, mate, we're putting the afterburners on Spurs. You can sod your sends. Caretaker manager after caretaker manager, whatever. I thought it was done and dusted. That game, as soon as we bottled the 2-0 lead, we can't go away from home. And it's not even about scoring goals. We just can't impose ourselves on teams anymore. It's as if they've defaulted and lost the style of play. And we can say what we want about, games and fatigue. But games and fatigue doesn't make you not ineligible to follow out on what your manager's plans are. Yeah. Tenhag is not going out there and telling them players to do what they've been doing. He's not. He's giving them the appropriate channels to run in. He's giving them, right, this is where you can drag players into play. This is where you can do it into spaces. And we've always said this about any of our managers. Any manager who comes in has to be the glue to everything. And I mean everything. To the players, to the actual directors, to the owners. They have to glue everything together. And if the manager can't do that, then they don't make it at Man United. It's as simple as that. And we have to say it for what it is. A lot of these players have gained a lot of respect over the years, yes. But there comes to a point where enough is enough. And at the end of the day, a lot of Man United fans, love it or hate it, all of the 3 top coaches right now who are at big football clubs, who are, if you like, our rivals and competitors, in terms of City with Pep, Klopp with Liverpool, and Arteta with Arsenal, they all replaced their goalkeepers. You know why? Because they didn't suit the style of play. But they gave them the benefit of the doubt. They said, you know what? I'll give you a year. Show me what you can do. Here's my ideas. Try and follow through out on it. And if you can't do it, well, I'm going to go off in a different direction. But at the end of the day, it's set in stone and it's standard. The way our summer window was set up, it didn't give us the squad depth.
Yep.
Therefore, it didn't give us the quality to get through these games that we need to. And if you can't get through it, mate, well, sod it. You're in an absolute pigsty, which is what we're in right now. And at the end of the day, Eric Tenhag, he's, if you like, having to compensate for this squad. Because trust me, his blood will have been boiling after these last 2 games. He will have wanted to go into that press conference and do a Ralph Ragnick, mate. You guys, mate, you're absolute bottle jobs. You need open heart surgery. I think you all need to go to the doctors or something. Go and get your eyes tested or something.
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag would have loved to have absolutely ridiculed umpires, but he can't. And the reason why he can't is because he's still got things to play for this season. So he's got to keep the camp happy.
Yeah.
But you best believe when you get to the end of the season, every single thing, like the stats that are coming out about De Gea, we know that these are going to be brought up. And we know that all the different factors are going to be brought up in terms of our recruitment. And we're going to analyse it all. But overall, the expectation of top 4 this season, Man United fans, we should always expect top 4 as a minimum. But the aspiration should always be to push for higher. But the way the competition has been around us this season, we've been very fortunate in terms of it's been poor. Because if you had a lot better of a Liverpool team, if you had Chelsea who had a bit of a better better manager in there, could progress those players as a team, you've still got Brighton and Newcastle who are pushing up your arse. At the end of the day, Man United can easily fall out of the top 4 in terms of if you're down tools. We know this from the end of the season. These players, mate, they thought they were done, dusted, dried. That was it. When they were sitting proud with a specky caretaker manager, as they called it. Like, and at the end of the day, the facts are there. We've seen this story before. That's the problem.
Big up, Tom. Saeed, we predicted that United to get top 4. So, how are you feeling? We're about to bottle it. It's about to go, people. But first of all, can we welcome the chef?
Yeah.
Chef,
What's happening? I could go from chef to...
How you doing, King? You good?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I'm here.
Listen, the only king I know is Musa, innit? So I don't know any other king out there, innit? You know what I mean?
What's happening?
Only allegiance that I press is to my brother Musa. So big up, brother. Big up to you. Saeed, I'll come to you. We're talking about Eric Ten Hag. We're asking the question, Musa. Did Manchester? Who predicted that United to get top 4? I didn't expect Man United to get top 4. But then I didn't expect Liverpool and Chelsea to collapse the way they collapsed. But even though Liverpool are having an amazing finish to the season, and they can win every game, by the way.
6 out of 6, and they're going to win the next 3 because Leicester got bullied today. I think for me, Nuruddin, I did predict United to get top 4. I think that should have been the least aim. It's the least that United could do this season is in finishing the Champions League positions. But listen, these guys don't want it in it, and they're ready to bottle it, man. Like I said to you, man, it's not just 50-50. You don't get top 4 by winning all your home games, in it. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a mixture. You have to be balanced in it. And this team is not balanced. When the going gets tough, they can't replicate the same form that they have at home. Certain men are performing. Certain men have got the goals. Like Rashford, like I said to you, I think his overall game is rubbish, but he's been getting the output. So I'm not going to really slate him too much in terms of this season, in terms of what he can give and what he has given. Certain other men haven't done that. Martial hasn't scored. Sancho hasn't scored enough. Anthony hasn't scored enough. That's another one as well. Anthony's not scored enough goals, man, for Man United. The midfield as well. I'm seeing Gundogan scoring every other game now. Where's Eriksen's goals? Yes, he's got the highest assist in the Premier League. Where's his goals? You know, Bruno Fernandes, for his standards, hasn't scored enough goals as well. Obviously, Fred, for his standards, to be fair, has done a little bit more. But other than that, bro, it's not good enough. We're not chipping in with goals. And the source of our goals as well is poor, man. Like, we barely score. Like, Everton have just scored now 3 goals in one half. Have Man United scored away from home 3 goals in one half all season? It's probably Man City, in it. That's away from home when the game was done. That's it.
Or Leicester, I think we peppered once.
No, we never. It was 1-0 Leicester away from home. Away from home, we haven't scored more than 2 goals. More than 2 goals. So again, that's not good enough for Man United standards.
We scored 2 away at Arsenal. 2 away at Arsenal.
2 away Arsenal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Haven't scored more than 2 away from home. Whereas Brighton, Everton now are 3-0 up. You see that there? They're just killer instincts. We don't do that. And this is what I'm saying. Manager can do whatever. He can train them. He can do whatever. But ultimately, guys, the players are not good enough. And we need to start to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest. No one should be fighting a cause for any player to be like, yo, he should do this. Bro, anybody can get it now. It has to be that mentality. Look at Ahmad today. Bro, Musa, you see Ahmad's goal today?
Yeah, he's
You
on
see what
it.
doing? People say,
But
some guy said to me, yeah, it's a championship, bro. It's about the principle. Nobody's doing that for United. Outside the box, bang.
he's got a sweet left foot though. When you compare his left foot to someone like Anthony, this not the same. Anthony's got a very baggy left foot. I've seen it enough now. Even that guy, when you look at the guy that was at Leeds that went to Barcelona, what's his name?
Rafinha.
Rafinha's left foot is so tidy and clean compared to Anthony's left foot. There's something about Anthony's play. Like Anthony's busy, he does what he does, but I don't think he's like for a left-footed player, that cutting in shot, he hasn't got it down to a T as much as he should have to me, man. Every time he cuts in, it's like sometimes it's on target, it's not on target, he's shooting. It's just very baggy for a left-footed side player. Normally they've really got tight left foot, like a tight shot and a tight control with their left foot. So I'm kind of worried, if I'm honest with you, because I predicted that we'll have top 4. But one of the things is that, and I think a lot of United fans, when we got rid of Oli, a lot of us were just happy that we brought in a manager who was actually a coach so we can see a style of play. And I think when a lot of us didn't predict top 4, we didn't predict it saying that we didn't want it. We just predicted it on the basis saying that this manager was going to be using the season to coach the team, to get us a style of play. And while during that, he might not actually get the top 4. It might be difficult for him to, bed down his principles in his first season and actually compete with the other teams like Chelsea, Liverpool, who else was in there? Man City, Arsenal. And also we saw that Chelsea finish. I mean, who else? Newcastle finished strong last season. So we were thinking, and then you got Spurs. We were thinking, so we were thinking there's about 5 or 6 teams who are going to be going for top 4. We've just got a new manager in who we know is a coach. He's going to bed down the team. If we were just trying to be results FC like Jose and not really having that solid footballing type of play, then we would have been saying we want top 4. But we said we were going to give him the time to bed in this style of play. And this is what I was saying yesterday on your podcast side, is that I don't think Eric has really stuck to his principles as much as I thought he would in his first season. Because when I look back I remember when Henry was saying he was playing for, what's his name, Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, and he scored in the first half, and he thought he was playing well, and Pep subbed him and told him, listen, I kept on telling you, you need to pass the ball. You need to play a certain way. I don't care if you're scoring goals. And I feel like our players score goals, leave the core principles that they've been taught by the manager, and there's no repercussion for what they're doing. We're just seeing them start the next game, play the next games. He needs to be very strict, because these guys will throw him under the bus, and as a fan base, we'll look for the latest shiny toy of a manager to say maybe he's the man to do it. Because how many managers are we going to have?
That's what I'm saying. That's why for me, how many managers? This is why I'm saying, like, a lot of people want Tenhag out if we don't get top 4. That's the consensus I'm seeing online and whatnot.
They'll throw him under the bus. You know why they'll say it? It's because the players like Ahmed, Palestra, and all of that, we haven't seen them. Like, we haven't turned over no one 5-0 with the young players balling and saying, "Oh, we can see something special happening here." We're about to finish the season, his first season, and we know that he's a coach and he plays attractive football. But have we really turned over a team this season? And we said, something's happening here. We haven't, and that's what Eric doesn't understand, because the fans can live with that. We can live with saying, you know what, we turned over that team. We can see what he's trying to do. And
to defend him, though, we have played against Everton, and we should have battered them 6-7-0. There's been games where Tenhag has coached a team to win 4-5-0, and these players aren't clinical. And when it goes to second half, they get back into their shell, and the next week, it's difficult to get back into the groove. When things are not going their way, players like Man City and the top players here, they find a way to win. You can't keep micromanaging these players.
Yeah, but he surprised me with not doing playing a false nine, man, and playing Venkos. He
Yeah, I know what you
surprised
mean.
me because he surprised me because as a tactician, I expected more from him. I expected him to say, you know what, like Sancho, you're not doing the best on the left or on the right. I'm gonna put you in a 10. I'm gonna put you in a false nine. I'm gonna do something because we've seen Bruno go back into the 8 and play next to Casemiro when we've needed him when Eriksen was out. And Bruno for me is better further down. I don't want him too close to the goal. I think when he plays in an 8 close to Casemiro, he does well. Some people might differ, but I believe we need a world class number 10. And when I told you guys, let's go and get Dybala, who's going for 9 million, who scored 6 goals. Everyone laughed, but he's got that Argentinian mentality. When I told you he scored 16 goals, he's got 9 assists for that Jose Mourinho Roma side, and he's been turning up, and he hasn't been as injured as
But
he
again, that's
normally
what
is.
his style of play. Again, for us, yeah, he would have probably what do you call it? I don't know what's
Number 10. He's a number 10 behind the front man. Or you can play the false 9. My thing is because he thinks he's a striker, but we know he's a number 10.
Let me just get the super chat. I've just put the graphic up. Big up Khalid Remedy Lassie, Chief Editor United Real Therapy for the graphic as well. Big up Adewale. Adewale said, again, Rashford has been good for 3 months in terms of scoring. And the other 6 months of the football season, he plays rubbish and doesn't score. Well, yeah. I think he's been scored. I think he's not scored in 9. That's where you got him. Big up to you, brother, for the super chat. Big up to Mupsy TV. Big up. Martial needs to leave now. And so should his Martial FC fan base. 8 years, never been good enough. Lazy, inconsistent. I don't know the word lazy, but I think he's inconsistent 100%. But here we go. We've got the graphic here, people. We've got the graphic here. And you can see clearly. So there you go. Newcastle have got Leeds, Brighton, Leicester, then Chelsea. United, we've got Wolves, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and then Fulham. Right? Yeah. Liverpool have got Leicester, Villa, Southampton. Southampton are down. Villa is the game that they might give them a game, even though Villa are on a bad run at the moment. And then Brighton have got so many games in hand, so they've got Arsenal, Newcastle, Southampton, Man City, and Villa. And I think that's going to be difficult for them to get Champions League. But that's where it is, people. That's where we're at. But listen, I genuinely want to go and share the screen because I really want to go to Big up Adewale again with a super chat. It says, Carla,
you missed one.
10, then Bruno, but the fan base, yeah, sucks him up. Wow. He's going in Adewale with his Bruno agenda. But you know what?
Lodi, you missed another one.
Say that again.
You missed another one. Adewale said one before that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure I said that one. Let me just find it again. Oh, you missed another one. Big up. Yeah, you guys get on Anthony a lot for new players in the league. Even Casemiro has been lit at times, 5-time Champions League winner. It's old players. I will keep saying it. They're making the new players worse. Now, 100%. There is something to that, 100%. Because I didn't believe Anthony was this greedy and this shooting and selfish as he was for Ajax. I don't believe he was like that for Ajax. I don't believe that. But guys, genuinely, I really want to go to this. I want to go to this one. I don't know if people can see it, so let's go to it. I want to just get off this one here. And then I want to share the screen again because this is an interview that everybody's sleeping on. And this is what makes my point. That something's not right at his football club. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Because you listen to the answers that Erik Tenhag's giving. I don't know how many of you saw it. I've got the full transcript here. So we're going to go through it line by line. But big up to all of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. So here we go, people. This was the interview we did before the Brighton game away, right? This was the second part of the interview. So the guest asked the question, Eric, a lot of supporters appreciated you picked up the gold and green scarf at the weekend. Was that an act of solidarity with the fans who want a new ownership? No, it was just polite. But I know what is going on around and what that symbol of it is. But it's just a matter of just polite, right? And then he goes, yeah, you're going back to the away form. I think one win against the top 12 teams. You've played 10 of them, and there is just Brighton left to play. Can you put a finger on why you have struggled away from home? Because I suppose you want to be able to be title challengers next season, and you're going to need to get better away record against the better teams. That's absolutely true. it has to do with the personality and character. That's where we have to step up. We have to face this. We have definitely improved. So when he says, let's break it down, people. When he says the personality and character, what is he saying there? Let's break it down, people, line by line. He's basically saying these players do not have the personality, as we talked about it a lot, Saeed, on a Straight Jacket, 229, go and check it out. He says, absolutely, it's true. It has to do with personality and character. That's where we have to step up and we have to face it. We definitely have to improve. So he's basically saying these players are not good enough. They don't have the character, the personality. That's what he's saying.
He's questioning it. When you question it, that's when you know it isn't there, innit? So he's asking for that personality to show. You know, I can only do certain things on the training ground, but you've got to show it on the football pitch. He's right, though. He's right.
Yeah.
He's spot on.
Right. And this is where the question gets really interesting. He says, Eric, just on a takeover process, there was a hope that it would be resolved one way or the other by the end of April. That obviously is not going to happen to be the case, and it's dragged on. You can't influence those plans, but depending on what happens, it could influence what you want to do in the summer. How important in your mind is that the situation is so soon, so that you know exactly what the situation you face in the summer. Yeah, I think it's clear. We want to be able to, he said, it's clear what I want, but it's not up to me. It's about others in the club. And finally, it's only the owners who can make that decision. So it's not up to me, and I can do everything I can and influence the process I'm in charge of. So it's basically saying, look, they're screwing me up here. That's what he's basically saying there. Yeah. The next question is this. You think there will be people who try to buy the club that will be very mindful of themselves, of the importance of summer, and they themselves will hopefully want the situation resolved quickly to assist you in whichever way they can? Yeah, but still, I keep telling you the same answer. I can take my influence and I will do it with those processes. This is not my job. It's not my responsibility. And so I don't want to have the power and influence that. I'm focusing on improving the squad, improving the team, improve the team's development. I have to make sure the team's progressing and I'm focusing only on that. And they continue. Eric, you said the main aim is to get Champions League. You're getting closer now. Do you feel the team squad is ready for Champions League? Because you obviously beat Barcelona, who are the Liga leaders. Then you went out to Sevilla. Do you feel the squad is now capable of competing with the Champions League next season? Yeah, I think so. But of course, he said of course, and I want to we see this project. So he said we see this as a project. In this project, it also belongs in the transfer windows. You have to strengthen the squad, or to make refreshments so that you can get more balance. You can bring more players. But I think we have already shown that and proved that we can beat the best teams in the world. So yeah, you can compete. We can compete in the Champions League. By the end of the day, we also want to still be in the Champions League in the winter. We want to compete in the knockout, and we still have a long way to go. So he talks about Lisandro Martinez. So he's out, totally out. That's what he says. They asked him, and he says completely no chance. In the sort of modern era of football, you have directors of football. Do you think you can actually have successful football club club? The manager has to be a successful person. Sorry, it has to be a football. Let me just start that again. In the sort of modern era of football, you have director of football at clubs. But do you think actually any successful football club, the manager has to be the football person? Therefore, you get the power of authority through winning and building squads. Question mark. So in the end, the manager's like what Ferguson was like here, like Guardiola is at City. He becomes not only the manager, but the chief scout, the director of football. At the end, it's all about the manager still. I don't know, but if it's true, because I look at Tiki Parasite at Man City, you cannot underestimate the role, what he has done. Right? So guys, what are we thinking so far? These are frank and honest conversations with Eric Tenhag. These are frank and open and honest conversations with Eric Tenhag, right? I don't know how many of you seen this, but it just gets even more interesting right here. I do not underestimate, but my question, do you think the manager has to be the definition, the most important person football person in the club because that person lives or dies by the result. Definitely, this is true. The manager, you have to back the manager. You have to believe in the strategies, his methods. You have to back him to go and build his squad. At the end of the day, it's always about cooperation. No one can do it on their own. I don't believe that one person can do it because there are so many jobs, tasks to do. There are so many aspects you have to take control of. You have to appoint. And I don't think one person can do it. It's always cooperation. Then it's about the quality that makes the strategy. You need more, and you need more people and more people to do it togetherness. You can see it in reflection or to the football and on the pitch because I have 11 players to do it with a togetherness. Eric, another question. The whole takeover thing. I appreciate you have no power over what happens next. Are you confident you have been told that you will have the funds to do what you want this summer, irrespective of how it's going when it takes who takes over? This is it. It goes, no, I don't have the influence on that. I don't know. So the only thing I know is that Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs, and it's among the 2-3 biggest clubs in the world from the fan base perspective. And I think club has to have to compete with the highest honours in the world: Champions League, Premier League. For that, you need to construct a squad, because at the end of the day, the levels from your players dictates where you are success or not. So there we go, guys. There's the cracks. What do we say to the answer? To the answers that you've just heard?
We're in trouble, mate. That's what it is. I think ultimately he's you know what he's doing? It's a lot of situations where he's speaking and he's trying to let people know that everything's gonna be all right. There's a lot of copium in there. There's a lot of back and forth. Sometimes he says we need quality, but then he says we're beating big teams. He knows what's needed for this role, man. Ultimately, he's seeing that the quality ain't good enough, and he needs quality. He's emphasised that. He's emphasised the need for improvements in the squad. There's a lot of games we're playing. He's, again, like I said, he's trying to be honest, man, but ultimately he doesn't have a say in it. With Glazers, he needs to know what's going on. It's an unusual time for him, man. I don't think he was there. Ajax, he had a settled Van der Sar. Remember, Van der Sar was there. They had Overmars there. I know he got sacked and whatnot, but they had a structure. They had a CEO. They had people who were footballing people. He must be thinking, hey, these lot here, John Murto and all these guys, like, these guys are not footballing people, man. Like, I work with top guys at Ajax. I work with the total football. I work with a proper system. You knew what players were coming in. You knew there was a youth team. Look at the youth team. The guys had to take over the youth team, you know. I don't know if you guys seen that, man. Them.
Yeah.
Like, take over the youth team because they're not good enough. Who's coming out of the youth team now? Like, Zidane Iqbal and Kobe Mino might be the ones to come out here. But other than that, I'm just like, bro, like, it's serious. Man City are winning trophies after trophies, you know, under every level. And yet we can't bring one out from the academy. That's the next one. Yeah, man, it's long, man. It's long. And I hear his frustration. I really do.
Listen,
Yeah, I think.
Let me get to this question. The last one. I think this could be the last question. This is the last question, and this is the final, because that journalist pushed him again and said, but when the whole thing started, you say that any takeover would mean more money for you. That's what he said that originally when the rumors of the takeover came. I was just wondering, as the thing that's been drawn out over time, whether or not you've been given certain reassurances that whatever happens from May, of course, you will have the funds that you thought you were going to have. And he says here again, everyone knows you need funds to construct a squad. A high-level players, they cost a lot of money. This nowadays situation at top-level football. So he's basically saying, I'm Qatarian. I'm telling you, that to me, Tom, I'll come to you, Tom. That's Qatarian as you can get. That answer there.
Yeah, well, when they're talking about money and you know, the sort of money that he'd have available, I mean, Sky did an interview with him where the reports were coming out about the Qataris and everything, and he distanced himself completely from the conversation. Look, at the end of the day, I think we know, we know anyway with the sale takeover and the process, that either or of the two parties were majorly interested in getting it, whether Sir Jim wants to come in and get into bed with the Glazers or not, or Sheikh Yassin wants to buy the whole thing. Both of them want some structural changes. They want to bring in their own people. And it's not in terms of the manager, because both of them want the managers to succeed and they want Erik Tenhag to have the funds available to do so. So if they don't believe he's their guy initially, they're going to at least give him the chance to prove them wrong. And at the end of the day, from what I take from what Eric Tenhag has said, is when he looks at it, and it goes to the point that Saeed said about the structure, he has worked under a proper footballing structure. You look at Pep Guardiola, for example. Anywhere Pep Guardiola has been, whether it be Barcelona, Bayern, now at City, he's always had either his own people there or he's worked with proper footballing minds and brains wherever he's gone. And if he doesn't get that, he doesn't accept a job. It's as simple as that. And why do you think Pep Guardiola has been so successful? It's not just because he's a brilliant coach or brilliant style of football or anything like that. No, you need the people around you to do their job as much as you can do yours. And at the end of the day, this is what I mean with Eric Tenhag. He has to compensate for a lot of what are the mistakes that are going on at our club. We know John Murtough, he's been an Evertonian director for nearly 15 years. Man United picked him up on the cheap, thought, oh yeah, we'll put him in the youth development department. And then you pick up Darren Fletcher, oh, he was an ex-player, was a familiar face around the club, yada yada. Oh, we'll make him technical director. Now we don't even know what Darren Fletcher's role is. He's a technical director, he's a coach. You see him at the ladies' game. I don't know if he's, the women's assistant coach or something like. God knows what his role is. And John Murtough, mate, he was taking flights out to Turin, taking flights out to Barcelona. I think he was just on a big piss up round Europe, to be honest. Like he went on a massive probably went to IB for something, to be honest. But he just went all over the place, didn't really deliver on anything that they stated. Richard Arden was videoed at the pub with the United fans saying that the money's there. Oh, the money was there, but you just pissed it down the drain. And majority of that money that we've been banging on about that we overpay for players over the years, well, it goes to the same point. The Glazer family have put us in the much debt that they have. And with what Eric Tenhag has said, at the end of the day, whomever comes in as a new owner, they want to bring in their own people, i.e. John Murtough will be on borrowed time. As far as I know anyway, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he wants Paul Mitchell to come in if he succeeds in buying the club or acquiring it. And I look at somebody like Paul Mitchell and I think, well, you had the opportunity to get him when you had Ralph Ragnick here. Like Ralph Ragnick, I don't believe
brought him to the game.
Listen, I don't believe in this myth that Tenhag didn't want Ralph Ragnick because he knows Ralph Ragnick knows football and he knows the right sort of players to get. And if Ragnick doesn't believe in that style of football, he can adapt. Coaches, technical directors, whatever, they have to adapt to different surroundings. And at the end of the day, he's done things on a budget scale. Now you're at Man United where you have, if you like, a more of a checkbook to open for players. Do you take, for example, what Chelsea have done? They brought a director in from Leipzig. They brought a director in from Brighton. They brought one in from, Leicester, I think. They've brought so many different people in and they don't know who to listen to on players now. And that's why the managers don't have influencers. Ten Hag, he knows the players that he wants, but if John Murtough doesn't give the orders to Joe Glazer to say, we all agree as a board that this is the player we should go for, well, what can he do? And at the end of the day, we know that the budget, we don't know what the budget is. And as I put anyway to an update to a lot of United different accounts and profiles, the budget doesn't plan for Eric Ten Hag to know what he can do. The only thing I know for certain is that Eric Ten Hag wants a number 9. And in particular, he doesn't care what it costs, providing it doesn't blow his entire budget that he would have. He wants Harry Kane. He sees Harry Kane as that perfect prime player who's, if you like, the complete striker. But even that is in doubt because he doesn't even know if he's got £100 million to spend to go and get Harry Kane. And that could be his problem. But there's so many different factors. There's FFP. There's the ownership. There's the actual players he has now. Can he even offload them? All we have is question marks and we have no answers or solutions to them. But, just as a final point, if Eric Ten Hag wants to make this season a success from now to the end of the season, he has to ride it out. And if you like, he has to keep people on side. Because if he doesn't keep people on side, yeah, he will get thrown under the bus. It's happened to plenty managers. Louis van Gaal was in the same position. Got to the end of the season, FA Cup final, won the FA Cup. He didn't get top 4. Where did he go? He went out the door. And a lot of people believed in Louis van Gaal at the time, and that was the right sort of manager at that time.
Yeah, it could happen.
But he still went.
Musa.
Yeah,
big up Tom. Musa, what do you, to me, that was one of the spikiest frustrations that he's showing. What I read out to you, what I read out to the therapy army, that to me was, he looks like he's really fed up. He's a planner. Eric Ten Hag's been known to be a planner. He's planning for the summer. He's planning for the training sessions, even in the summer as we speak. Man United are going to the US, going to a US tour. So he doesn't know what players he's going to have. Is actually around March, at the beginning of the end of February, is where agents and that clubs start speaking. So at this moment in time, we don't know how much he's going to have. He said it clearing then that some of your shitty racist lockers can speculate and go, Man United have got 100 million. What 100 million, right? He's just
Player
speculating.
sales. We need to do player sales first, Nuruddin.
Listen, what was the last time Man United sold players and made any money from it? I'll tell you, 2 players that come to mind: Smalling and Dan James. And
Yep.
Smalling both of them wanted to get the hell out of here. Both of them wanted to get the hell out of here. Right? So Musa, that to me is the clearest indication that he's not happy with the setup at the football club. He
100%.
He spelled it out clearly and said, modern football, if you don't have the dough, you're not competing, mate.
He said it, and I just think I think it was one of those Eric or those Ralph Rangnick interviews, but he's just a polite version. And I think he makes you read in between the lines. He made it clear that he believes our away form is based on mentality and players being able to have a certain type of mentality. He's previously said it in interviews beforehand that players who don't have the mentality to win every game, they won't survive and last at Man United. Well, if you're not going to survive and last at Man United, he's going to need funds to replace them. So that's clear. He's made it clear that he's going to need funds to build the squad and the team that's going to start winning things at Man United. And if you're not ready to play and fight and to be up for it every game as a Man United player, you're not going to survive under Eric Tenhag. And then on top of that, he's made it clear again that the leadership and what's going on, it's none of his business. He just needs structure. And like everyone said, he came from a structured football club in Ajax that had things like that. They were on top of things and understood the football market, understood the importance of having technical directors, etc. Now he's come to Man United and they're asking him silly questions like, do you think that, example, that a manager should be the most important person at the club? And he's been polite to that reporter by saying, well, what are you going to say about Man City's technical director? Do you think that Pep has gone out and got all those players? Or he hasn't had someone on top of him bringing the players back saying, look, this guy fits in your system. What do you think? This guy fits in. Yeah, go ahead, bring him in. And he needs that support. He can't do it on his own. He needs that. And he's being clear, of course he needs that. And with Ralph, he had that. All the players that Ralph suggested we buy were all under £40 million at the time. Now, every single one of those players is commanding of 80 million and up.
Easy.
After a season. They're all commanding 80 million pound and up after a season. These are the same players when Ralph Rangnick was going in for them, like Enzo Fernandez and all of that. They were going for like 10 million pound.
Facts.
And as far as Ralph is one of those also technical directors who wants a coach as a manager because he wants you to earn your money. I'm going to bring you in a player like Enzo for 10 million, and we know he's got the profile to be a top midfielder. Coach him. That's what you're here for. Coach him. Do you know what I'm saying? And Eric Ten Hag is that type of manager. He is a coach. So we don't need to be bringing in Eric Ten Hag finished products. Guys, are we building a new squad, a new team, or are we going to do this Jose Mourinho thing where I'm not here to coach anyone, just bring me in the finished article? And this is why, as much as I love Harry Kane is not our Van Persie. Adding Harry Kane to Man United does not win you the league. It doesn't win you the league, guy. It might make you finish second or third, but we've done that already. We finished second and third already. If Harry Kane really wants to come to Man United, how about you stick it out another season at Spurs, and then come January in 4 or 5 months, you agree to come to us in the summer and then join us then. But we don't need to go and spend £100 million on Harry Kane for a player that's not going to win us the league, just so the whole, all these pundits can turn around when it comes to Christmas time, where we're struggling to get even into the top 4. And then these pundits are saying, United have destroyed Harry Kane. United have done this, blah, blah, blah. 100 million spent on Harry Kane. And next minute, we're struggling.
The emphasis,
The
emphasis, Musa, is on a squad rather than a player, man.
Squad.
I think that's what the problem is. The people think that one player is going to come in. Harry Kane is going to do one jigsaw, but then the midfield's going to get beaten, or the keeper's going to get done over. bro.
Well, who's going to set him up, Saeed? Saeed, listen, I want your general gist of that. Is Musa right? It's exactly that was a Ralph Ranieri type of interview with Eric Tenhag, where he basically spells it out. That was to me, that's the frustration.
Without being politically, without.
Yes, he was a bit more smart because he's got a job. Ralph didn't have a job. Ralph was like, "Hey, I'm here for a little period of time. I'll say what I want." Eric's got a job. That's like when you bad up your manager at work nicely in front of everyone, but not enough for him to pull you up and say, "Hey, you're out. You're getting disciplined."
You know what's mad?
You know what I'm saying?
The fact that for me, when you look at it, the Ralph Rangnick said we need open heart surgery, and then all of a sudden United don't buy the players that's needed to kind of make sure the squad is correct. And this is the problem. We have to have that deep analysis about this squad, man. It's not just a short-term fix. It's not just patch it up. Like, what did you say about the plaster? You know what I mean? Like, you got open wound and you're trying to fill it in with a
wound. So you got a double barrel shotgun wound and you're putting a little plaster on.
You know what I mean? And what's that going to do? What's that going to do? Seriously. And this is
but even Ralph Ranieri said better than me, and he said open heart surgery.
Yep. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you got to remember what we're doing is kind of crazy, and what we're trying to understand that is that certain players, will fit that in and that might work and whatnot. No, we need a proper deep root squad. And you know what? I think for me, the biggest thing for me is that you got to get rid of the players who are just taking positions for no reason. You know, these certain players that are just there for no reason, that are just taking positions. Get them out, bring fresh players in, and then you've got a different outlook on what your team is. Honestly, man, Guardiola bought 2 new fullbacks in. You know, everyone, if Man United got 2 new fullbacks right now, everyone will be going mad. Oh, but Dallo can't play anymore. Oh, Shaw can't play anymore. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
2 new fullbacks. If Ten Hag is saying, I need 2 new fullbacks to do what I want,
Saeed.
Fullbacks.
Saeed, it's happening now with Frimpong. Is it going to be Delo? Is it Wan-Bissaka leaving? What's happening? How can we get Frimpong? People are doing it now because we want another right back.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why.
The biggest thing, to be fair though, the biggest positions are centre half, a goalkeeper, I think 2 midfielders, and you know what? I'll take Harry Kane if you get a younger striker. I'll take Harry Kane if you get a younger striker.
To be fair, that's what Wilson said. To be fair,
but I'm saying, Saeed, get him next season on a free. Let this younger striker come in now and bed in the team, because we're not going to win the league with Harry Kane. So go and get him on a free next season. You know what I'm saying? Why spend 80 million unless Harry Kane's 50 million pound? I'll say get him. But if we are going over like 60, 70, 80, spend that on a young, talented player. You could. How much did the City pay for Alvarez?
14 million. 14 million.
14 million. So with this 50, 60, we're going to put it for Harry Kane, and that's the low end. We can go and get 2 or 3 young strikers in at that price.
And what are we doing? Funny? Listen, can I tell you something funny? A funny stat. Alvarez has played, I think, 10 Premier League games for Man City. He would be our second highest goal scorer if he signed for United right now.
You know, that's crazy.
Look at that.
That's mad, you know. When you actually deep it, it's actually crazy that, you know.
It's mad.
And
you see what it is? But he's got that Argentinian mentality.
Well, Musa, if Harry Kane comes in, and I'll ask to Tom, who's going to set him up? We've got 2 inverted wingers, forwards, who don't pass the ball to anybody, who just shoot on sight.
They're dead.
Anthony,
we need a
all of a sudden, Anthony turns to the Greenwood. Like, remember when Ronaldo was there, where everybody was just shooting, nobody's passing.
Yeah,
nobody passing.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, though?
We need a slick number 10. Guys, we need a number 10. We need a slick killer number 10. We need a serious number 10.
You can't say that. You can't say that, Musa. The Bruno stands will come after you.
Nah, get rid of Bruno. I told you. I'll bring in Dybala. I'll bring in Joe Felix. He's had a torrid time, and I've seen him balling.
Joe Felix, this team will be disaster. It'll be disaster.
You think so?
Felix. I'm telling you, man. We need to go get Maddison. For me, Maddison would be unbelievable.
What happened to Tillsman? That used to be your guy, Saeed.
Nah, man, he's washed now, man. He's done out here.
Man. Don't bring me Tillemans. That guy is a fat little shit. He can't run. He's so slow. I'm faster than that guy, mate. I'm faster than that
That
guy.
was how you died.
Come on, man.
You
Come
know
on,
what?
Logan.
He rolls around the pitch like an absolute tumbleweed. He gets brushed off the ball. We don't need him here. You've got Ericsson. Ericsson has got more bit of pace than
Ericsson is Zimmer frame. Nordin, Zimmer frame.
Ericsson will put the
Zimmer
burners
frame.
on him. Ericsson will put more burners on him, mate.
Ericsson can never play 90 minutes, man. What happened to Ericsson? Little start of the season, Ericsson was fit as a fiddle, man. Like, bro, what the heck happened to Ericsson, man? Man can't even last now, man.
3 months off, mate. Man's had 3 months off. I told you, Saeed. Listen, I'll start the question again. Tom, I think the season these players finished after we won the Carabao Cup. If you look at our results after that, I thought they thought that was the season done. The way they celebrated.
Bro.
I mean, look, the way that the attitude was towards that, because up until they'd actually won a trophy, these players, you could never label anything like they've never achieved anything together. They've never done anything together. Like, that's the thing that was labelled against them. But as soon as they've done it, like, all right, where do we go from here? Oh, well, top four. At that point in time, a lot of Man United fans, we weren't even concerned about top four. Let's be real. Like, a lot of us thought, oh, you know what? Put your feet up. Like, Spurs are an absolute shambles. Conte did the outburst that he did. Like, and went from caretaker to caretaker. Liverpool have been under par this season for majority of it. Newcastle have been, pushing up there, but they do have a game or two in there where they aren't the same team that they have been previously. But we take it 47. Look, I look at what all you guys have said about buying England number 10 and everything. And I just think, but we already have one in Bruno Fernandes, whereas there's other positions that desire necessities at this moment in time. Like, people say it about a goalkeeper. Oh, we need a new goalkeeper. Well, rest assured, we actually have one at this moment in time. A striker we don't have at all. We don't have anyone who identifies as one or who even wants to play that role. Martial, mate, he says 1 minute he says, "Oh, I'm a wide left player. I'm a centre forward. I'm a striker. I'm this and that." Mate, you ain't even available to be picked. Never mind picking a position. Overall, you'd go to the basics and you think we don't have a number 9. So at the end of the day, until we get that,
what happened to Martial? Tenhag saying, he's willing to die on Martial as well. By the way, he's saying we want to keep him next season. We want to do this.
He's got to say that, because then he can. Because if he says he's a player that he doesn't want, who's going to take a player that a manager doesn't want? Like, you've got to say these things.
And they might down tools as well. We can't afford him to down tools.
Mikel Arteta did it with Aubameyang for the longest of times, didn't he? Even when he'd done all the things.
That's true.
With the national team, things like that.
Do you think he'll sell him though? Do you think he'll sell him though? Do you think? Now, be honest.
I think he'll try to, Saeed. I think he will try to.
Guys, we need if Qatar come in, we don't have to sell anyone. They're just going to cancel contracts and pay people out, and that's the good thing about it. They're just going to cancel contracts and pay people out and say move on. And half of the
Martial.
The only problem is we go back to the same point in terms of the creativity this season. I don't want to hear the arguments of that we don't create enough chances, because we do. We just don't take them. That's the problem in this.
That's true.
You cannot afford. You can say all you want about going to Anfield, mate. We went to Anfield and lost 7-0, but we should have been 3-0 up at half time with those chances that we had there.
Yeah,
easily 3-0 up. Teams have gone there and absolutely took the piss out of them. Arsenal did.
Even yesterday, we hit how many bars did we hit? The bar this way, that way.
Yeah, we hit the post.
Yeah, the post.
We've hit the woodwork so many times, and at the end of the day, you still don't get the result. We played a game against Brighton nearly, 2 years ago? I think they hit the post or bar like 6 times in the game, and we still lost to us. And that madness came. But look, you can create all the chances in the world, but if you don't have clinical goal scorers, what's the point?
Tom, I'm gonna say this: Manchester United always want this. They always want this savior, one player. Harry Kane, this person, Ronaldo, Cavani.
Yeah, but we know.
You know what? Who's going to set them up? Man United needs 7 players to go into that starting lineup, Tom. 7 starting line players.
He's the British golden boy. What do you expect? When Wayne Rooney was playing, he was the British gold boy. When Shearer was playing, Lineker. There's always that global English superstar striker that will always get the spotlight. And Harry Kane's good. Is if you like, the one in the modern day era. You will have one in the next 4 or 5 years who will come through.
How
And
sad is that?
A young English
How
striker
sad is
who
it,
will
though?
take that role. Yeah, but
But think about it. How sad is it? How sad is it when we look at all the big clubs around the world and none of them will be breaking their back to pay 90, 80 million pounds for Harry Kane. And here comes Man United, who have no chance in hell of winning a title, think that they can just come and slap 80 million on such a player.
Musa,
What the heck are we doing?
Exactly.
Listen, that's been the Manchester United's transfer policy. Stimmer Frame FC. Guys approaching 30.
That's it.
Get them in. Get them in. You know what we
How
should be
sad
called?
is that?
You know what
How
we should
sad
be
is
called,
that?
Musa? We should be called the 30 Club. Manchester United are the 30 Club, mate.
That's it. How sad is that? We're saying to ourselves, with all the pulling power that we have, with all the scouts that we have, we can't go and find a player.
4-0. 4-0. Oh my days.
4-0.
Big up Everton, man.
But that's what I'm saying. But we're sitting there and we're thinking, as a fan base, Man United, with all the scouts that we have, we cannot go and find 2 young and up and coming strikers and spend the best part of 60 million on both of them.
Yeah,
we can't do that.
Yeah.
Everton has scored 4 goals at Brighton, and you know what? In 2 games,
composure, guys. Dwight McNeil has shown more composure than any of our bro. The guy went round the keeper. He took the piss out of him, guys. You need to watch that goal, Musa. Oh my days, bro! They scored 4 goals. We've not scored 4 goals away from home all season.
The problem, though, with us is with some of our scouts. Like, we have some of the best scouts in the world. Like, you can't argue with that. We were scouting Erling Haaland all the day when he was at Molde. Like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave his personal recommendation to Man United, and they followed his whole career. They tried to get a deal with him, and he wanted to go to Dortmund instead because the deal was better for him to develop there. Man United, Jude Bellingham's another point. But Birmingham City, Man United can't negotiate a deal with Birmingham City for a young midfielder. Like, come on, what has the world come to at the end of the day?
Guys.
But it's all about the money, isn't it? And this is the problem,
man. It
Man
won't
United,
be composure. It's mad.
We are a billionaire football club, but we're broke in the market. That's the problem that we have at the moment. And because everybody around us is putting the price tags up and up and up, suddenly, mate, Man United are going to be like Liverpool, where we can't afford a £100 million player if this continues. Because we can't. The model that we are run under doesn't structure and function for us to do that. And we know the reason why it doesn't, because while we've been absolutely atrocious on the field, commercially, we've been absolutely piss poor as well, because the sponsors want to pull out or they want to renegotiate. But we all get to the same point. If Eric Tenhag wants a certain player, Eric Tenhag is one of those managers where he wants an open checkbook. And if you don't give him an open checkbook, well, he can't produce anything. It's as simple as that. It's either you give him an open checkbook or you give him more time. And if you don't have more time to get the players, then what can he do?
Tom, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll say it, and I'll get the last word from all of you quickly.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Manchester United they don't operate like a football club. We don't act like a football club. We've not acted like a football club for the past.
We're just a name, no. We're just a name.
We're just a name. That's what we are. And that's what I've been trying to get you guys to understand for a long, long time. Now, apparently, we're going to hear something from the club the next week. The next couple of days, we're going to hear something, apparently.
Stories. Have you got the latest updates or something?
I don't have any update. Big up to Tom. Tom sent me some update about the potential striker. But then I look at that team and I think Man United needs 7 starters. But anyway, get ready for this for the summer, people. Barcelona big up Khalees. Listen, there's 250 of you in here. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. By the way, we're 500 short of 8,000. We've just only got past 7,000, and we're nearly at 8,000. We want to get to 10K before the season starts again, people. So smash a like. We've got loads of different things coming up, loads of debates, loads of quizzes in the close season. So let's go. Let's do this, people. Come on, Therapy Army. Smash a like and make sure you go and check out 229 Straight Jacket podcast. Interesting. Saeed's coming around to my way of thinking. Not getting a bit too giddy back in this Player FC anymore. He's realised that they let him down. They're a bunch of bottlers. But Barcelona must recoup around 176 million before they can make new signings this summer. Handing United encouragement if everything eyes Frankie de Jong. Second consecutive transfer window. So get ready. Yeah, we're
tired of that Frankie stuff.
Listen, are we ready for Frankie? Are we ready? Musa, I'll go to you. Forget Harry Kane. Are we ready to chase Frankie one more time?
Listen, if I see that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna tap out for the whole summer. I'm not involved. I don't want to see that. I'm tired of that. And this is what happened last summer. Like, I just can't do it. Like I keep telling you guys, for me, I just want to know what's going on with the ownership. Because if we get the Qataris in, it's game set match. I don't need to worry about, are we going to get the players in? Are we going to spend the money? They're going to give us the best of the best. Right now, I'm just worried about Jim Ratcliffe coming in and keeping it business as usual. And what do I mean by business as usual? Business as usual is that Man United always spend money anyway. We're saying we don't spend it right. We don't spend it correctly. And on top of that, we're talking about infrastructure, buildings, what's happening? And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about it's just going to be a business as usual. Eric Tenhag is going to get 150 million in the summer to 200 million. He's going to buy a couple of players. The fan base is going to get hype and giddy. And then come Christmas, if we're not in the top 4, people are going to be calling for his head. And then we're back to square one again with the same ownership, same stuff going on. Nothing ain't changed.
Big up, Musa. Saeed, it's the last word, lad. Frankie, you ready for Frankie?
Frankie
we ready for Frankie?
I'm ready. Frankie de Jong is coming on. Listen, man. It'd be like Sancho, mate. I'm scarred, me, man. Sancho, we waited for him here, and he was a flop. So listen, mate. De Jong could come in, and he could flop at Old Trafford as well. So I'm not sure about getting players, but we've already failed in the first season. You know what I mean? So I just think overall, I think for me, Wolverhampton, I don't think we're getting a win there. That's my personal opinion. And we have to get 9 points out of the last 12 games. You know that, guys. Because Liverpool are going to win all their games. Liverpool, mark my words, will win all the game. United have to get 9 points for the remaining 12 points. So strap in.
We can't buy a goal, Saeed. We're Everton are balling out 4-0. By the way, McNeil, Manchester United Academy graduate. You know what I mean? He learned those skills at United. Know that. Those who don't know better get to know. I remember watching him in the youth game, Saeed. I remember watching him.
Yeah.
McNeil, mate. If you know, you know.
I remember watching flipping Menji, and I thought he was going to be the next club captain. All of a sudden, mate, it's not worked out.
Injuries.
I'm just saying, though, innit? You know what I mean? It's academy footballs now. The way if you're not integrated to the first team as soon as, man, it's a long day, man. And one thing that Tenhag hasn't done this season, which I'm disappointed, is not playing Zidane Iqbal. I'm not gonna lie to you. Very disappointing.
100%. He's a man who's overtaking him in the pecking order. It's crazy. I don't think he trusts him on the physicality. I think that's what's happening. So,
bro, physicality, mate. Eric's getting bullied. Physicality, what, man?
Exactly. At least he's got a bit more skill to get away from players than Ericsson.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He's got brilliant feet. Listen, Tom, go on after last word, and we're gonna end it here, guys. You've been over 250 in here all throughout the stream. Please smash a like on the video. It gets the algorithms, and subscribe to the channel Therapy Army. We tell it as it is. Like Stephanie says, we're raw, red, and real. That's how we keep it. We're red,
red, and real.
That's what she said. Big ups, Stephanie says. AK incoming, great content, raw, real, and red. That's what it is. And make sure you go and check out the Straight Jacket podcast, because for me, like Therapy Army, you've known it. You've known this could happen to Man United, and from now on, I'm gonna shut up like Saeed tells me and not predict anything.
Yeah, don't predict. That's what I'm saying, Nordin. Just don't predict anything. That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, listen, I think we've covered all bases, really, of what we've said. You know, the manager's got to compensate for the players that he's got right now. He can't blow up like Antonio Conte did and Ralph Rangnick have done in two of the most, biggest outbursts that we've ever seen in Premier League history. He can't do one of them at the end of the day. And, people will say, well, he's got to work with what he's got and use young players and this and the other. This stage in the season, it ain't the time for, a Kobe Mainoo or a Zidane Iqbal. It just ain't. You need people who have experienced it, been through it and done it. You have players like Ericsson who have been in these, times periods, albeit at Spurs, but battling for top 4. They know how to do it. They've been doing it for the past 3-4 years that they were at those clubs. Bruno Fernandes, he'd been challenging for, European places with Sporting. Like, it happens. Players have experiences. But, like you go to the same point, and the problems are, now, when we go to these final games of the season, I don't believe that you can come up with any excuse. You can't use the excuse of fatigue, tiredness, because you are playing one game a week, Saturday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday. You were playing a game once a week. You have no FA Cup, you have no European Cup commitments, Carabao Cup's already done, you have no other trophies or commitments to play for. So at the end of the day, if Erik Ten Hag cannot now, at the end of the season, we cannot see something of his ideology or his tactical plans, then I think there is a big concern. Because we were setting up with a cup of tea, beer, whatever, at Spurs 2-0 up, thinking, you know what, top four's done and dusted, mate. We've put all of them in a spliff and we're just going to sit back and vibe. Like, it's not happening like that. But at the end of the day, until we get some proper investment in the summer, and we can, if you like, get a striker, because we don't have one at the moment. You need a midfielder, defend. You know what, centre back, right back, goalkeeper, whatever. Like, until Erik Ten Hag gets a majority of this team, which is his, like 5 or 6 players, then mate, you ain't going to see a lot, because you can't even play some of your players in your preferred position. Luke Shaw should not be having to play centre back, and if you like, that is why we are compensating, because we don't have somebody in the final third on the left hand side. When Luke Shaw, we know he's a left back, not centre back, regardless of all his plaudits. But that's the points anyway.
Big up, Tom. No, Stam wasn't 30. Stam was in his mid-20s when he came to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Fergie only signed one player that was near his 30s. That was Van Persie. 4-1, by the way. Brighton have scored one and it's 85 minutes gone. But listen, people, please smash a like. Tell your nan, tell her friend to become part of it. We're 500 away from 8,000. So we're on our way to 10,000. Big up to Jarvis. Big up to everybody. And make sure you go and check out Saeed or Saeed TV. All across all social media. Is one of the most he's probably the hardest working YouTuber right now in the game. He's chasing that 100k. He wants that plaque behind his head in his little studio. Mate, Musa, is there any way people can get involved, follow you social media, the great charity work that you're doing, brother?
Yeah, most of the time it's just the Resoul CIC, but next year I'm going to join the footballing podcast. I'm going to make sure I have something. I'm working on something behind the closed doors so I can join the guys and kind of also add a bit more to the whole scene and just have my 2 pence. So pre-season, you should be seeing a channel coming up. I might as well plug it now. It's going to be called Musa Reacts. And yeah, you'll be seeing me.
You know what? Big up, bro. You can come on here anytime. So go and check it out, people. Go and check out Musa, innit? When a new channel, we'll be letting you know. We'll be a bit hot off the press. There you go. You got exclusive. Musa's channel. The channel will be coming. Big up and we thank you for all the great, amazing things you do with the young kids, brother. Love and light. And Tom.
Thank you. Respect for that.
Yeah, man. Big up to our Tom Journalist 1. Go and give him a follow. He's always dropping me some exclusives. Always dropping me some the news before it comes out. So big up to our Tom. Big up to everybody in the therapy army. Tom, is there anything you're involved? Anything that you want to plug?
No, at this moment in time, no. Well, I'll plug anyway. United Real Therapy. Listen, everybody, like, subscribe, share the community as always, people. And on the road to 8K. So
there we go. Big up to everybody. Love and light. Please smash a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel and let your people know about the community in it. Big up to our Stephanie. Big up to everybody that was in here tonight. Listen, we've done the show. To me, that was a lot of you missed that Erik Ten Hag interview. Second part, a lot of you missed it. And I just thought that it was for the first time ever since he's been at Man United. Again, another manager, the Glazers are winding up another manager for him to be able to come out and say the things that he said. He basically said similar things to what Ranić said, but like everybody said, he did it very politically, and he said it in a polite way. Love and light. Big up to everybody on Australia. Big up everybody around the world. Big up to all my Scandinavian brothers. Big up to everybody around the world, man. And solidarity with Palestine. Free Palestine. Free everybody, whatever's going on in the world. My heart goes out to people in Ukraine and the people also in the Russian region. You know what I mean? We big up to everybody. Love and light. We want peace, love, light in this world. Win, lose, draw. Glazers out, because they're the biggest vultures in this football club and they're still holding the club to ransom. Yet again, spoiling the plans of another manager. Spoiling the plans of another manager. So you know where we stand, people. Love and light, people. Take care. Good night.
Peace.
Glazers out.